G'day Scrap Mechanics, this is Guardian Oz. I'm at my survival world mucking around with that flat train with the pin that we're talking about, and I thought I'd give everybody a quick 101 on how to make a smooth bridge. So this is the height of the packing station in the far distance, way down there somewhere, and that's the cave for the trader. But this height also is the same height as the trader on the other end. Now the reason to show you this particular span of bridge is this complies to all the rules that Scrap Mechanics says, in the fact that you need one leg per cell per 256 blocks, which is where that line is, the gap there. So this is one perfect section of bridge based on cells and tiles, and I know exactly where the cell tile is because I'm using the Fant mod at the moment, and it has a really cool command called show tile. Now this displays the boundaries for the different cells in Scrap Mechanics. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And what this works out as is, if you made a farm in this square, that's one raid counter, that's a second raid counter, third, and the fourth, because this is the actual exact corner of the cells. Now you can see that the post marks where each cell is in one block distance. So what I do is I give myself one block boundary so I know that I am inside it, and you can see here, looking up through my legs, we've got a red line that runs perfectly through, so I know this is exactly in the right spot. And then this bridge section is 256 blocks. If I go in this direction, I have a gap. That is using pipes, so like a curved pipe. So if you place it like that way around, it's flat on the top, and this part is not connected to that part at all, so it gives you a separation. So from a Scrap Mechanic, when it loads the cell point of view and you're worried about bounce or lag or any of that sort of stuff, it takes all of that away because it's a separate cell. So when you cross that cell boundary here, the cell next to us is loaded, but the 2 cells away is unloaded. So again, this is where I've got my legs. So this current cell we're standing in, this leg and this bridge is 256 blocks. So you can see you don't need a leg very often, but you need to be very accurate where you place them. And that's how come I keep my bridges smooth and I can run without having any problems. So just to show you that cell thing for a Scrap Mechanic, if you think of a noughts and crosses grid, so like we've got here, so if you stand in this middle square, the square including the grass here, so we're actually including the one I'm standing on, and the 8 sections around us are all loaded. Now if I step this far, this one, and the grass is unloaded because we've created the next set of tiles, and it works in a noughts and crosses grid. So every time you move, you're recentering the grid. So that's why the cells are important to be aware of. So an example of that where you can have that extremely disappointing is if you've got logic and you're in this cell over here, logic's connected here. Let's just make a little blob. So this is where our logic is. Now that cell, we're in a second cell at the moment. So if I go 256 blocks away, if I go to this segment, cross over this border, that logic which we just created stops working. If we moved it just a couple of blocks to here, inside this cell, now it will work inside the cell we're in, plus all of the next cell. So if you've ever had your logic muck around when you're running around your base, it's because you're crossing cell boundaries and borders. Yeah, so I hope everyone already knows this stuff, but it sort of helps. I don't have any weapons. I am in God mode. I run unlimited. If you're worried about all that sort of stuff, set the world to day, set the time till noon. I use all of the perks. So anyway, that's tiles. What I have been building is this intersection here. It's taken a lot of trial and error to work out how the geometry should work, and then also changing tracks. So at the moment our track is turning to the left over my head, so it's in that position, and then we can switch to the other position, which will now allow us to turn to the right. My train is over there, so we will put it back into the left position and take it for a test drive. So the reason why this is, you've got to be really careful with this style of stuff, with this sort of trains and stuff, is weight geometry and making sure that it's supported twice. So everything in there has two pistons pushing on it, and it's all stitched together, so each base and each part that moves is on rails. You don't need it to be low friction or anything like that, just supported all over the place. So you actually, even though I'm only doing small movements, making sure that everything's all tucked righty tighty and nice and neat. So we want to go that way to give it a quick test drive. I missed a few things I've found with the trying to get this switch going was how to get on my track, how to get this part working clean so that the train, when it's crossing, doesn't get too much bounce and stuff when it's all packed away and that sort of stuff. So I've actually had to work on these finger part more than I thought I would need. Just getting the length of them correct and how far they have to move and all the speed and everything like that. So hopefully I left that in a direction where I can say I've got the switch working. Around we go. And now we're on that new set of rail. Let's see if we can get some speed going. And you can see as we go through each cell. Whoa, 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 whoa. I am not ready for that. Oh, that's going to take a lot of fixing. Oh, that's going to take a lot of fixing up. That's going to take a lot of fixing up. Anyway, that's my video. I've just been working on that switch. I'm going to have to do a pen paper logic tree to work out how I want that switch to work. So as an example, if I'm coming from the first tier packing station and my train's full, leave it so I can go to the trader. If I'm empty at that point, coming from the trader, should I turn my empty train towards the tier 2 packing station? Logic question, that sort of stuff. If I'm coming from the tier 2 packing station and I'm loaded, I want to head towards the trader. If I'm coming from that station and I'm empty, I probably want to go to the other station. So I've just got to work out my logic tree, work out how to put my sensors in, trial test, and get it all working. Anyway, thanks for watching. See you guys in the next one.